Sixth Sense Media. Today I want to talk about a subject that the title of it makes me a little bit uncomfortable, but I think it's an important conversation to have. Call it God, call it the universe, call it divine spirit, the great spirit. Talking to God, and what happens when God talks back. First of all, the term God is a subjective term. It's one that holds different meaning for, I'd say, each one of us out there. On a personal note, I think it's the force known as God is similar to the force described in the movie Star Wars. I had a great discussion with my friend Daz Smith on the Seeker podcast, where we went into that description of the force being somewhat of an accurate representation. But my personal beliefs aside, what happens when you get a message from something divine? Entire religions have been founded on such statements. The Bible has it, the Torah, we have the Quran, the Book of Mormon, and many others. And what they are accounts of ordinary people having extraordinary contact with a higher intelligence. Who or what that intelligence is, I don't fully know or even understand. But what happens when somebody makes that claim? David Icke made a comment in one of his tours. I think it was the Remembering Who You Are tour. He says people spend their entire lives talking to God, yet are in a state of disbelief if God happens to answer them. I don't know the exact terminology. I'll try to find the clip and play it for you right here. What started this writing journey, I know I started talking about my father passing and stuff, but actually in 2009, I had an experience. I wrote a book. It's part one of the I Am Human series. It's I Am Human. I don't know why I'm showing. I'll just give you the graphic. But it's I Am Human, and we're not who we think we are. And that started, I guess, my mind opening up to this stuff. It was 2009, and I was trying to understand. I was asking. I put it out there to the universe, trying to understand what is this reality? What is going on? I had some, and my daughter's in the background again screaming. I had some obscure experiences. And I just got, the best way I can describe it is a download of information. Just all these thoughts that came into my heart, and my mind was trying to process. It was a good 2 hours. I'm just laying there trying to figure out what all this information was in my head. It was like that scene in The Matrix where Trinity just downloads information into her head. So I got up out of bed, around in my office, and I just started writing. And I don't know where it was coming from, but it came out in a coherent thought. And I titled that essay, I Am Human. And it goes into some direct and some literal and some metaphoric descriptions of this existence and this reality. And I made that book available for free. You can find it at sixthsensemedia.net/IamHuman. I'll have the link right here. That's where I'm going to put it, right there. But I encourage you to check it out. And my point is, that information didn't come from me. It came from somewhere else. And I've learned to trust that intuitive voice since that time period. And that voice is what drove my research for I Am Human, Food for the Archons. I'd have an idea in my head or in my heart, and I'd go look it up, and I'd say, wow, this is an interesting thread, and I would run with it, and it literally led me on a journey of writing this book. So it's research-based, it's experience-based, but it's intuition-driven. Where do I say that came from? What would you say? You're going to look at me and say, Dennis, you're nuts. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. And maybe other people who claim to have had similar contacts and experiences. The premise of my book is to open our minds, to understand that there's more to this reality, and there's more than just us floating around here. We just can't see everything. And if you think of everything in terms of information is constantly floating around us. We have the ability to access it. And sometimes we're sent signals and messages. Sometimes we can receive those messages and actually understand them. So I encourage you to check out my free ebook, I Am Human, We're Not Who We Think We Are. In anticipation, it lays the foundation for I Am Human, Food for the Archons. And I'd love to know your thoughts. What happens when God answers you? What does that mean? What do you do with it? I think it's more common than we realize, I guess is my point here. It's not just this rare thing. God didn't, or whatever that voice is, didn't stop talking to our species after the Bible was written. It has continued on. So, alright, enough of the heavy stuff. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Dennis Nappy II with Sixth Sense Media. Don't forget to let your intuition be your guide. Thanks for watching.